6 years later, after September 11th, my recollection of the day, I was in high school and it was 10 something maybe, and I was in history class. And it's funny because, or ironic, because we were learning about the American dream and what that meant, and they were showing the World Trade Centers on TV. It was on the videotape. Had nothing to do with the breaking news. I had no idea until I left the class. 10 o'clock in the morning, we had lunch at school back in those days. Um, and I went out to a hallway, people just like freaking out, people whispering and saying bits and pieces. And then I was standing in line at school, in lunch line, and I heard kids said something about a car bomb at the Pentagon and planes. I'm like, what the hell? I don't take everything I hear word for word from kids or anybody to be factual. So my first instinct was to go look in a classroom and find a teacher who had a TV, and that's what I did. And he let me come in and sit, and then no sooner than I sat down is when the second plane hit the tower, and I'm just there's no words to see that. I mean, it was live on TV, just, and they said another plane hit. I didn't take it, I didn't know it was that serious until the second plane hit, and then whoever the news reporter was kept talking, and it was just crazy. It was just absolutely crazy. And I immediately, thought about people I knew, if I knew anybody lived in New York, which I didn't, or anyone in Washington, D.C., which I didn't. But I remember our whole family coming home, and then we were at my stepdad's job, and um, I was sitting out in the van watching the news feed because my mom came to get me and my sister from school. We were in high school at the time, and everybody was crying, and there were a line of parents lined up to come get their kids out of school. But anyway, I was sitting not too far from downtown waiting for my stepdad to get off work, watching the TV in the van. And all of a sudden, like, the sky started roaring. It was just a roar. Thunder sound like almost. It was the two jet planes, fighter planes, whatever you want to call them, that were on their way to Cleveland to shoot down the other one. The plane that crashed in the field in Pennsylvania. And I remember we got my stepdad's mother out of the nursing home, and my grandmother and my aunt, and we all went back to our home and just sat around the TV and watched. And after that, after the day after and the wars, and we live in a new kind of world, run by fear and chaos and panic, which is some of it's needed, but some of it's just all brought on by whoever, whatever. It's just a different world. It's just hard how one thing can change the course of the rest of history. Terrorism, Bin Laden. But I remember I've also been to New York once. In 2001, it was probably 6 months before it happened. And I have a picture, and I may show it. I'm just sitting there pointing at the towers. And I remember seeing them being on the boat going over to Ellis Island, and just looking up at these buildings, and I'm already on top of a boat right under them, looking up even higher, just metal cement. And I remember how beautiful they shined at night, but little did I know what happened. So there's my story on the whole spew, and my hearts and prayers go out to the family still after 6 years. So give them their moment of silence for today, and record your thoughts. Do a response. What are you thinking 6 years later? Peace.